Greetings, schools, and welcome back to another talk about horror anthology television. Tonight we're taking a look at an episode of Tales from the Crypt, titled Lover Come Hack to Me, which is another tense edition from Season 1. So let's get right into it, but if you don't mind, please consider hitting subscribe to help out the channel for free. Thanks so much. We open on Peggy and Charlie's wedding day. You know it's going to be a good one when her Aunt Edith is already chasing the newlyweds down, telling them they will live to regret this day. Oh, Aunt Edith. I love how direct you are. She calls out Charlie for being a gold-digging lowlife. Peggy inherited a ton of money from her late mother, and Edith is protective of her. Charlie tells Aunt Edith to kick rocks, and that she's got a week to find somewhere else to live before she's thrown out on the streets. Yikes. So they hop in the Mercedes and speed off down the street. They drive a great distance and it turns to nighttime. There's a horrible storm pouring down on their car. Charlie's frazzled when he sees there's a downed tree in the road. They look for a flashlight and find a handgun instead. He takes the car keys with him and reluctantly gets out to see if he can move the tree, which is clearly not going to happen. Bummer, what a way to spend your wedding night. He spots a big old house that looks abandoned before going back to the car. He managed to lose the keys while playing with the tree, and he's not the nicest about it to his new wife. I can see where the aunt was going with the fact that he doesn't love her. He's got the personality and lightness of a stone while talking to his new bride. They definitely have weirdo energy, which I find deeply entertaining to watch. What happens next?
Anybody home?
I'm scared.
They're always scared, Peggy.
Oh goodness, they decide since no one's there and they're practically stranded, that they should go inside. Charles was going to break in, but Peggy finds a spare key under a gardening pot. They get in and wow, the building has seen some better days. The wallpaper is peeling off, the walls like a cheaply done paper mache. The house is dirty, run down, and left to sit for 40 years? They look around and they find a huge battle axe above the fireplace. The fire looks like it was recently laid, which is quite weird, so they light it up. Then Charlie suggests they take off their clothes since they're wet. This is her first time seeing a naked body of a man, it appears, and she's startled by it. When she comes back in, she's feeling down. She's starting to believe what her aunt said before, that he probably only wants her because of her money, not her looks or her personality. He assures her that she's the one. They go upstairs and find a decent bed to make love in. Charlie lights dozens of candles as he mutters to himself in dismay. He's seriously miserable and actually did only marry her for her money. Peggy gets dolled up in the other room. She stains her lips and even puts on some sexy stockings and a transparent robe. How divine. So I'm sure you know where this is going. They're gonna make a baby. It's an interesting scene to say the least. I actually recommend it for a good laugh. Okay, but this is when some other crazy stuff starts happening. So Charlie is in bed still and he took a nap, but he wakes up and his wife is outside jumping on another guy. He follows them and sees them undress and have a full-blown affair that parallels the scene we just saw to a T. It's unsettling. Like, where is this wild story going? So after the second round is finished, with Charlie still watching from the hallway, we watch something horrifying happen. We piece together that scary lady isn't Peggy, it's her late mother in a ghost form. This is how Peggy's dad was killed. So Peggy's mom killed her husband in this house on the night Peggy was conceived. Am I super corny for getting a serious kick out of this? Charlie wakes up and he's pretty much living his nightmare now. His wife wants the perfect love.
And I want what my mother had. A perfect honeymoon. A perfect love. That I can make sure that time does not spoil.
We don't have a perfect love. Peggy, I married you for your money. I've never loved you.
I'm dead. He says want a bet, then starts shooting an empty gun at her. Yikes. The poor guy never stood a chance and he's dead as hell. The final scene is Aunt Edith and Peggy meeting up at the estate. Peggy recounts her wedding night and they both live happily ever after.
Only no more men. Understand?
I promise.
Awesome, and that's that, folks. This is the best of the best as far as Tales from the Crypt goes, and I'm happily rating it a 9.9 out of 10 for the series. It was written by one of my favorite writers, Michael McDowell, whose work has been prominent on this channel and over in the exclusive content on Patreon. The cast was perfection. That set was divinely scary. Did anyone else recognize Peggy, played by Amanda Plummer, who was in Pulp Fiction? And even more importantly, Night Visions, as the professor that goes nutso when the world ends in that one college episode. I love her a lot, she's very talented. This episode is a really exceptional one that puts me in a better mood than a lot of the others. It passes the taste test, and holds up reasonably well long past its era. I truly love old gothic homes on a rainy night, and pair that with an unsavory honeymoon and I'm all in. I was invested in seeing what epic monstrosity happened to the two not-so-in-love lovebirds, so I can't praise the writing enough for both characters, plot, and setting. Set design and locations were wonderfully done here. They really stood out as exceptional work. Overall, I can't ask more from Tales from the Crypt, especially in its first season. I hope you all are enjoying this series because I plan to devote the rest of the month to Tales from the Crypt content and see how it goes. It wouldn't be possible without viewers like you and my patrons who supported today's video. If you care to hear more about nostalgic or perhaps lost to history horror anthology shows, please consider donating a few dollars per month on Patreon or with the new YouTube membership. Thank you, that's all for tonight, but until next time, stay spooky.